Dear life insurance agents and financial advisors, this is going to be an awesome video. Today we're going to talk about why most life insurance agents fail. In fact, 92% of insurance agents fail within the first 3 years. Right, Charles? Was that the stat, or is it more?
It's 92, 95, but it's way too high.
Right, and we were just having coffee this morning, and Charles asked me, he says, let me ask you this. I've been in the business 30 years. You've been in the business 6-7 years now. Why do you believe that insurance agents fail? Why is that statistic that high? And I answered him with two big reasons why this happens. The very first reason is that the insurance business attracts the wrong type of person. Now, if you're watching this and I'm outlining these qualities, right, it doesn't mean that you're this type of person that you can never change. And I want to preface that. It's very important. But a lot of you that are watching this may have the business owner mentality, but you're just missing a couple things. So the first thing is that most people get into this business thinking that they're going to be able to make a 6-figure income working from home without even having to think like a business owner. They can just treat this like a job, work less hours, and make more money from home. And so right from the beginning, the mentality is not there. And what happens when you think like that is you refuse to invest in yourself. You refuse to invest in coaching. You refuse to invest in training yourself. And most importantly, you refuse to invest in lead generation and practicing your sales, right? Because Charles, if you don't have people to see, what you can't practice your sales, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to summarize this, kind of like he hit it right on the head. I was really impressed. That's why I asked the question. And we ask these questions because that's what we want to solve, right? Our program's about solving the problems in our industry, right? And before I get to the practice, Jamie, my summary on that is you've got an entrepreneur. A lot of people have an entrepreneurial mindset. They want to be business owners, but they have an entrepreneurial goal or desire, spirit, but they got an employee mindset. Excuse me, I should say that differently. So you've got to shift. Part of our program is helping you shift to that. But as Jamie said, once you get into the business, then the real reason, without a marketing plan, without being able to generate your own leads, which will help you do, they fail because they can't practice their scripts. They can't practice, and you got to practice to get better. Just think of it like any other sport. If you never went to practice, how's your performance? So when you add no performance because you don't have anybody to practice with, you quit, right? You feel like a failure. And it's a shame because we'll talk more about this later on, Jamie, but this is the greatest industry there is because you do have the time freedom and you do have the money freedom when you do this business correctly. It's just time freedom comes second. Time freedom comes second, right? To get money freedom, time freedom has to always come second. Right. You have got to be practicing daily, and then the money will come. And that's why they're expecting the leads to come to them, and they've got to bring the leads to them.
Right. And that's why the very first thing that as soon as we get a new agent, and I'm on the road right now with Charles, we're going to be going all over the United States, traveling around, writing new applications, annuities, IULs, high ticket deals, right? We're talking $3,000 premiums all the way up to $20,000 premiums. So I'll take you guys on the road with that. But primarily what we want to start with is leads. And the problem, and Charles, I want you to touch on that, is the problem in this industry is when you join your upline, you join your organization, right? The first thing they start teaching you is they start teaching you about the product.
Yep.
And they start teaching you about all the intricacies of your product, and you become a product-led person, not a fault to the people listening, but they start learning about the product and then how to sell the product, but from a product lens versus a person lens. So I want you to touch on that because I know this is something you talk about a lot.
Everybody that you're reaching out to or that's reaching out to you to try to get you into our business right now is leading with commission and product. And Jamie hit it around the head, and they're backwards. Think of it this way. If you were going to buy a car, okay, I could show you my product and let's make the car the product life insurance. Okay, if I just try to sell you the car, Jamie, if I just try to sell you the car alone, I know it's flashy, it's what you think you want. Maybe I should ask, do you know how to drive the car? Because you can buy a car all day long, but if you don't know how to drive it,
right,
nothing matters, right? You're going to be in an accident, there's going to be a failure, and then this beautiful shiny thing that you thought you want is totaled, right? reason agents fail isn't that they don't have the product. Everybody's got product. That's why you're being bombarded with product and commissions. What nobody has is how to drive it. And that's called training, the process, coaching. That's what we do. We coach.
Yeah. And we start with leads because we understand that once you have people to talk to, and if you have good people to talk to practice on, right? Because again, I can give you...
Who do you practice with?
Right.
Who do you practice with, right?
And here's the thing, right? If we throw 100 incentivized old 3-month-old leads for IUL or annuities, and then you call 50 leads and you have nobody pick up the phone or people tell you to screw off on the first 50 leads, what happens? You lose motivation.
Well, you lose motivation. More importantly, your spouse lost motivation because she's watching you frustrated, not bringing in an income, right. And that family pressure builds, and builds. You need coaching. And nobody does it. Trust me. I've been doing this 30 years. The organizations that are trying to lure you in with their lead generation and their top commissions, the one thing they're not doing is, like you talked about, used leads or recycled leads, or they're going to want to get you, they're going to hope you're an entrepreneur, that you're going to buy your own leads, and they're going to just try to feed you with product that they offer for their benefit, right? Yeah. And product is product. None of them are going to say, hey, walk with me. Let's learn how to sell this. You know what we're doing right now? We're walking. I do a walk every morning. That's how I start my day. I collect my thoughts. Jamie's with me today. This is how I start my day early in the morning. And I'm always thinking about how I can coach others. I want to get back to this industry. I want to take time to tell you and show you why it's so important that you master, that you align with the coach. Because the coach is going to help you sell the product. The coach is going to help you drive the car, right? But without the coach, I think that's the number one element. The top reason why people fell after they've got into our business. No coaching.
Yeah, that's true. Or the wrong type.
Wrong type of coaching, yeah.
Yeah, and so, once again, if we drive life insurance agents, financial advisors, if we drive them with high quality leads, right? People that are coming in, seeing a video of you before they've given their lead information. Now they're watching a 10-minute educational video of you before they even get on an appointment with you. And then before they even show up, we're emailing them, texting them saying, hey, I want you to watch additional resources. You know what we're doing here? We're building trust. We're making people the authority. You are becoming the Dave Ramsey, the wealth protection lady, the Doug Andrews of the world, because they have seen you and they trust you. And they only decide to really talk to you after making the decision that, yes, I'm going to have a conversation with this person because I trust this person. Why? Because I trust what they told me, and what they told me makes sense. Now, what do you say on these videos? How do you explain the product, right, Charles? You don't talk about the product. You're talking about the person on those videos that we're going to help them create.
That's right. See, what product is product. Everybody's got it, and everybody's selling, right? Your customer doesn't care about the product, and that's so hard for agents to understand. When they get in this business, they think, man, term life insurance, IUL, indexed annuities. There's so many products, and then you got how many companies offering the same products, whole life, right? So they think, oh my gosh, to be successful with an employee mindset, I've got to learn the menu. I've got to learn all of these things so I don't look like an idiot in front of my appointment, right? And so they're memorizing all these things that don't matter. They walk into the house, or the client comes to them on a Zoom call, and they start selling how great the product. You're going to probably pick out your favorite product, your bias, right? And you're going to try to push that bias, right? And you think you're going to educate them. You think you're doing a good thing by saying, oh, wow, here's all the features and the benefits and why it's important. You know what coaching is? Realizing all that product's there. You already got it. You've got all the products you'll need, okay? Don't worry about that. Learn how to talk to your client. Your client doesn't care about understanding surrender penalty or overfunding or MEC limits or all these things that are in a life policy you feel you got to learn. You know what they understand? Like, I have some tax problems, or, something happened to me tomorrow. I want to wake up knowing that those 3 children asleep right now are taken care of, right? So we have to we got to become storytellers. We have to reach into their life and understand their needs, right? And let them tell us what's important to them. And once we know what's important to them, product just fills the hole, right? It's a different way of selling. They don't care about you. Trust me, they don't. Premium's never the issue, and the product's never the issue. Learning how to communicate and speak your client's language and understand what their biggest fears are and what their financial objections are the reason you sell. That's coaching, and nobody else is doing this.
No, exactly. And this is why this channel is called Life Insurance Pros, because finally there is people out there, us, right, that are now combining the process of going to find prospects that are your ideal customer, right? And then having someone behind you that can teach you how to speak to that specific customer. I don't think it's ever been done. I've been looking all over YouTube and I don't see anybody doing that. And this is what I believe is missing in this industry is the combination of both. And for the first time you have that, you are able to attract people with video, getting them watching your video sales letter. Guys, a video sales letter is probably the reason why you're watching this video today. Okay.
And the reason we do the coaching along with the lead gen and you creating your own leads is because, and that's what makes us really unique. It's because it's all about, once you learn how to bring customers into your business, into your life insurance business, you spent and invested in that like an entrepreneur does. You got to perfect your presentation, right? They know you got product. You got to have coaching. You've got to have coaching. And that's why I've decided to get off the road. I've been doing this for, quite honestly, I've been in this business 30 years, and I call it a road warrior for 17 plus years, doing top of the table, quarter of the table production, lifetime qualified member, all that.
What's top of the table so people know?
Oh, I don't even know the number there. You're doing
at least $500,000.
Oh, yeah, 700, 800,000. I don't know what it will be this year in commissions.
Right.
And that's not to be arrogant, but I've done that consistently. And the reason I'm doing that, because you're going to see as Jamie rides along with me these 3 weeks, is pretty unorthodox. I've joined forces with Jamie because I found a better way to bring leads in, and that's what we're sharing with you. But the second point of this is it allows me to get off the road and coach. I have been in every scenario you can't imagine. I've seen about every scenario. I've got to get off the road and quit doing what I've done for so long. I'm an empty nester now. I want to spend time with my kids, my grandkids, those types of things. And I'm going to go into coaching. And I am so excited to work with somebody like you that wants to elevate your practice, but learn from one of the best. I promise you that if you'll listen to me and work with our team, I don't know everything, but I will find the answers, and I will find a way to perfect my sales process. As you get to know me, I'm changing every day, but you need a coach, and I'm that coach.
Yeah, no, and yesterday morning we were having coffee like this. We didn't record that conversation, but Charles finds different ways of explaining a product through stories and through anecdotes, talking about the specific customer's problems and the way he had sold. And we're going to keep that for a separate video.
Yeah, we are. That's going to be the basis of
right. And he told me I got 100 ways to do this, depending on what the customer tells me, depending on what the customer says. And I was just blown away. And I'm like, we're going to be giving it away all on this channel. We want to give value to people on YouTube to show that, hey, here's what we know, right?
That's right.
Here's what we know.
Let me give you a teaser. As an example, if you're selling an index universal life that seems so complicated, definitely going to seem complicated to a client, right? So you know how you're going to learn the product? You're going to learn how to tell stories about the product. That's how you're going to learn the product, because that's how we're going to address what is the surrender penalty and how do you make that a positive thing? How do you deal with the range of premiums? Those types of things. And what Jamie was saying is we got over 100 different ways. We could take just an IUL, one presentation like that, and we can break it down into a series, or I'm not going to call it 100, but definitely a bunch of 5 to 6 minute training tips. And it's not about the products, it's about the language to explain the product. That's how you learn the product, is you learn how to talk about it. in a language your clients understand, then incents your clients to take action right now, and it makes something that feels uncomfortable and unnatural feel perfect. Buying life insurance for the first time in your life and paying a premium for something that's going to hopefully never occur, at least for the next 60, 70 years for somebody young, there's no tangible, there's nothing they can touch, see, other than a promise that I'm going to pay the insurance company's going to pay their children later on in life. And they're willing to commit money to that for the rest of their life for something that might not occur for 40 years. You better have the language down, and you better be able to get in and reach into the emotional heartstrings and explain how powerful that product was. And then when we get into an IUL, you're going to learn how they can get their money back. If they don't die and they need their money, how can I get all my premium back tax-free? That's the kind of language you use, right? What if we had a product, Jamie, that would insure your family for $1 million if you died tomorrow? $1 million tax-free that your spouse or your children would have, so your children's educational dreams would be self-completing if you're gone. Your spouse won't have to work. She'd have the ability to stay home and raise that family if she wanted to, or vice versa, he wanted to. And then last but not least, what if you said, hey, we did everything right, and 70 years from now, or 70 years now, 30 or 40 years from now, we don't need this anymore? That's probably not going to happen, but we don't need this anymore. What if I could give all your money back? Learn more. That's how you talk to clients about the product.
Right. Love that. Guys, if you're seeing the value, like I'm learning, soon I'm going to have to get on the road, replace you on the road, Charles. After the 3-month learning all this, I'm gonna take your spot.
Jamie, this just started from one question before we take our morning walk. Hey, Jamie, why does 95% of the agents or so not make it?
Right.
And now we're on to this long video.
That's right. 10 minutes after waking up, that just tells you how much we care.
That's what we want to solve that. The reason I asked that question, it's been the biggest. I'm going into coaching and just doing that. It's the biggest frustration for me, because if I understand the beauty of our business, and trust me, I quit once a month. And then I go, what are you talking about? I make too much money to quit. Who else is going to take me? With our success model, you can't quit. And I'll tell you why. There's no employer going to make you an employee that's compensated at my level.
Right.
You can't quit, but you got to make it the first 6 months. You got to make it the first year, and to make it the first 6 months, to make it the first year, to make it the 5 year. See, after the 5th year, you can't get out of this business. You're making too much money.
Right. How do we accelerate that path for agents, though? Right?
We do that.
How do we cut them from 1 year? How do we cut that 5 years in 6 months? How do we cut that 6 months into one?
Because learning to do it the right way. Investing in this model that's going to teach you, first of all, move from that employee mindset we all kind of have. Learn that you have to, and we can't do this for you. You have to choose to be an entrepreneur. You have to choose. You're not an insurance agent. You're starting a business. It's a different mindset. You cannot walk into this business from day one and say, hey, I want to be an insurance agent. You know what you say? You do when you say that? You say, I'm going to try it on. Okay? Entrepreneurs don't try things on. They go all in, right? So as an entrepreneur, you're going to walk in this business and say, I'm building an insurance practice. It's going to have my name. You got to envision your building or your marketing. It's going to have my name on the storefront in this part of the community. And I'm going to walk every day so the community knows who I am. That's branding. That's who I am. That's a business owner. And your clients are going to ask you, what do you do? You say life insurance. They know what you do. But no, seriously, your clients are going to ask you, really, they're going to know, what does that mean? What do you do? What are you going to say? I offer life insurance products? They go, okay, everybody offers. No, that's where the coaching comes in. After you get your beautiful building, your entrepreneur, your practice opened, first thing you're going to do is you're going to tell stories. I help families achieve their financial goals and dreams. I work a lot with people 65 and older and helping them understand the tax consequences of having a lot of money in IRAs or 401ks. How can we mitigate the tax risk? I help with people protect their families to ensure that if something happened to them, that if they're gone tomorrow, that their children's educational dreams come true, not off somebody else's checkbook, but off daddy's checkbook, right? That's what I do. I would love to sit down with you and learn more about what your financial goals and objectives are, and your objections, right? And I would like to help put together a plan for you and your family so you achieve the success financially The success of knowing if you're gone tomorrow, your children are taken care of financially, or I can mitigate tax liability, those types of things. See, that's coaching, and nobody else is doing that. Product is just product. Product just fills the void. That's the trap. That's what everybody else is recruiting to product. And without the coaching, there's 95% failure in our industry.
That's right. That's right. So if you're, that was good, Charles. That was good. I think
real.
That's just real. And
what if we could close that to 80, Jamie? Just 80. What a success.
Right. But see, the thing is, the people listening to us, especially the people that have been watching for now 20 minutes, those are not the employees, I don't believe. These are people that I think have it in them. They hear you, Charles, and they're like, there's something in me that I'm relating to Charles right now, right? There's something in me that has more. I'm not like everybody else, right? I'm here for more.
From day one, if you don't operate as an entrepreneur and see yourself as a business owner and somebody starting an agency that might build agents underneath you or just be an individual agent, which usually make the most money, right? If you don't approach it like you're an entrepreneur or business from day one, you're 90% behind. So you have to change. And we take employee mindsets, but we're very honest with them. Say, you've got to move into this day one as an entrepreneurial. And your first job as any business owner is to do what? Get traffic in your business, right? Think about it. If it wasn't insurance, if you were opening a little coffee shop, we're having coffee right now, you could have the best roast, the best coffee in the world. But without clients coming through that front door every day, you can't perfect your coffee. You can't get feedback on ways to improve it. You have to have traffic. You have to have traffic. You're the business owner. Who's responsible for the traffic into your business? You are. If that means putting a sandwich board and walking down the street, going to your local schools and advertising marketing, that's a hard way of doing it, right? We create traffic by teaching you how to create your own traffic flow. Step number one, entrepreneurial. You've got to invest in a program that brings customers into your business, your insurance practice. Number two, what do you do with them when they get there? Just let them pick out which coffee they want? You let them say, okay, I'll think the medium blend? No, you're going to say, here's my favorite blend and why. Listen, we have perfected the roasting on this blend, and you're going to love it. In fact, if you don't like this first cup of coffee in my business, I'll buy it for you. You know, that might be going extreme, but notice it's not the product. I led them to the product through coaching, through saying the right words. What's your likes? What do you like? Do you like it bold or you like something mild? Cream, no cream, that kind of thing, right? That's what you're doing when you're running your business. The menu's the menu. We all go into restaurants and say to our waiter or waitress, what do you recommend? Think about it every day. The menu's the menu. No agent spend time on asking, being like the waiter. We have to share our favorites. We have to share our experiences. That sales process and product just follow. And then they order it's never about the item. They order what you recommend. Not all the time, but most of the time. I don't know. That's a long ramble on, but I get jacked about this stuff,
absolutely.
man.
You can feel the passion. So guys, life insurance agents, financial advisors, you are a brand new agent. You want to start on the right foot. You're looking to start with strong leads, high intent leads, people that are not incentivized, people that see you before they get on a call, that actually get on a call and say, hey, John, I actually was just watching your videos before you called me. If that's what you want, or if you're, and you've been an agent for 2-3 years, you've been buying leads, you've been relying on referrals, kind of just scrambling, this business can offer you more, but you just haven't found the right person, the right coach, the right lead generation system, the right sales system, the right processes, then this is for you. And finally, if you're a veteran, perhaps you've been in the business 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Charles has been in the business for 30 years. And you want to potentially scale. You're potentially at $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. And you're just looking for additional tactics, a couple tweaks in your business to double the amount of premium that you're writing on your average client, increase your persistency, or you want to just add another channel to stop relying on potentially referrals or the current channel that you're relying on someone else to provide you with leads. You want to take it in-house, then I encourage you to click that link down in the description. Good morning, sir. Okay, click that link down in the description. You can also go to lifeinsurancepros.com. Lifeinsurancepros.com. You'll find more information. We'll talk. Charles will talk to you about the offer for generating your own leads, and we look forward to seeing you on the other side. If you've already booked an appointment, we look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Click that link below. We'll see you guys there. Bye.